Cameron Kemp. I'm a security researcher with the ESET.
Now it's ESET.com.
Yeah, ESET, yes.
Okay. What do you guys do?
So we're a global security provider, and we play in the spaces of critical infrastructure and kind of across the gamut. So multiple platforms, but certainly the worldwide question, is certainly in focus these days, especially at Black Hat.
So you're a little different than people we've talked to, and help me get this right, because you're looking at global stuff, whereas one other vendor might be looking at that company and that company's issues. You're kind of 30,000 feet?
30,000 feet, but in fact, since we have sort of global footprint, I mean, we look at heat maps and whether there is issues, whether it's nation state or anything else, and we parachute in some cases to really take a look at that like the infrastructure, the power grid hacks that you see in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And so we've been involved heavily with that, so in that sense, we're able to look at global issues and kind of how to address them and trends. And I think Black Hat, the way that interfaces is we're seeing a lot of critical infrastructure here, and we're very deep in that conversation.
Excellent. And we speak about critical infrastructure on a global basis.
Indeed.
Which role, if any, does your company play in terms of assisting the greater community? Let's say, for example, energy grid across countries to strengthen resiliency.
Right, and so the question we get is who are you helping and what are you guys doing? And I think the interesting thing there is we don't really take sides. We're looking at protecting the infrastructure, regardless of kind of the political context. People want to draw us into a political context.
Right.
We don't look at it like that. We look at it, these are systems that protect our customers, the people we know, the people we do business with. We certainly don't want to compromise that, so we definitely have our work cut out for us.
I think the biggest threat in all this stuff is just turning us off. Click. United States is up. Tin cannon wires. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
I think I'd fear that more than them dropping bombs on us.
Indeed, yeah. If somebody shuts off the power, like everything else stops, doesn't
America
it? I mean,
stops.
What do you do? And so you don't think about it. It's all the things we don't think about. The water. Reliable water and things you don't really consider. But certainly, as a nation here in the U.S., we are very focused on that and worldwide because we want to prevent a cascading failure mode that certainly affects our ability to do business and do what we're doing here today.
Now, do you find looking at these things at 30,000 feet, I did an interview with Cisco. They're in all these spaces with infrastructure.
Indeed.
Right? And they have some really cool stuff on how they're taking care of things. And what I learned from them was that, let's talk about the electrical grid. I thought everybody's kind of connected, one head would turn everything down. There's some power stations where they still have a 1909 transformer.
Yeah.
They got to drive out there. It's not online.
No.
Right? And I felt good about that, frankly, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to take down the whole thing if you have a single point of failure. So we don't really have a single point of failure in our infrastructure, do we?
Right. So you have sort of a mishmash of a bunch of systems.
Yeah, old stuff, new stuff, yeah.
Right. Some are connected, some aren't connected. Some are sort of last century technology.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
If you have a $5 million transformer, you're not likely to upgrade it because the guys from IT tell you to. Right. It was put in place to work for decades, not 6 months at a time. Yeah. So not like a laptop refresh or a tablet refresh. You're talking about plant equipment that is, here in Vegas at the Hoover Dam. You're not going to replace one of those valves on the Hoover Dam.
Well, that's true.
Because your IT guy said, "Hey, I think we might have a problem here."
Right. So can we feel a little better in knowing that with all that diversity, we don't have a single point of failure, but we have multiple disconnected single points of failure?
I think in some ways, and I think certainly this is the focus of lots of people, lots of smart people, and really I think it comes down to, in the critical infrastructure, I think it comes down to a skills gap and almost a generational gap of those who have grown up running the Hoover Dam without any packets, without any networks. Thank you. They don't know who Cisco is. Right. Here at the show, we know who Cisco is. We like Cisco, and now you have those people who run the plant having to come to terms with the next generation, which was a network connected generation, and those are the people who are going to be running the plants. How do you get there from here? And so it's just very much a skills gap as it is anything else. Oh, I don't want to talk to the guys in IT, because how could you really hack a generator?
Right.
And on that note, with more people out in the field using IoT devices, mobile devices, can you speak about the challenges that your clients face and what you're seeing in your research?
So, interestingly enough, a good segue into that, and if you look at critical infrastructure, all you're talking about is non-standard platforms. Platforms we don't think of as being connected and needing a security posture in the same way no one thought of security in a mobile posture, say, 5 years ago.
Right.
And so in some ways, because we're talking to critical infrastructure, we're also talking to people who build non-standard platforms that are very small and deployed in a lot of places, which is IoT. So really, in a lot of ways, there's not the security consciousness. I mean, internet-connected video cameras are Swiss cheese of security.
Interesting.
Swiss cheese.
Now, and I was just at ISC West a couple years ago. I think it was 2014 was the first year that digital cameras outsold analog cameras. That seems kind of late in the game, doesn't it?
It does, and Kodak, I'm sure, is a little bit upset by that. But of course,
Yeah.
they've changed with the times. But absolutely.
So our infrastructure probably is mostly analog cameras now, probably not connected, or they use stuff to connect them now, even so. But yeah, now that it's all digital, those are threats. Those are a 1 million soldiers that can attack as a camera. How do you guys look at these things? Would you consider yourself kind of a consultancy on the global picture of things, how everything's interconnected? You seem to have a really high view of all this stuff.
We do, but we also have very deep roots. If you look at the history of how these systems are put together, a lot of them are very simple rudimentary operating systems, a lot of them based on open source concepts like Linux or BSD.
Right.
Now, that's a space we've been playing in for a long time, before most of my friends knew what Linux was. And so the IoT, the critical infrastructures oftentimes are based on these kinds of operating systems. So we have a lot of visibility in that. And also, if there's threats coming out, they get reported to us because people trust us on very low-level systems. And so, like on the endpoint, the threat hits the endpoint. Yeah, certainly, the Ciscos of the world see that. But it does something on the endpoint. In the end, the lever that moves is on the endpoint. So
Right.
we have a way of tracking that and creating a heat map, and then hopefully working to protect the IoT. So your phone will still work. Your smart home is going to work. Is the idea.
You want change in the cyber industry? Turn everybody's phones off, and the political motivation will get that done.
Yeah.
And then they'll start saying, "Oh, we got to spend money on that."
How long
It
can
is
you-
kind of political.
Right, indeed, but think about this: how long can you live without food? A few days. How long can you live without water? How long can you live without broadband?
Yeah, not very long.
2 hours.
No, exactly.
Hotspot doesn't work.
Hotspot doesn't work.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the hotel? Yeah.
So, what keeps Cameron Camp? What a great name, by the way. It just kind of rolls off your tongue there. What keeps Cameron Camp up at night? What do you worry about?
I worry about the people that are around me who are using technology that don't really understand it, and quite frankly, want a box or if you bought a shovel, you would expect to get it and it would just work.
Right.
You wouldn't expect it to get broken in half or invaded by another country.
Right.
And yet, the things that we're passionate about, that happens. And how crazy is that? So what kind of world can we live in? We can let technology go to the dark side, so to speak, or we can invest in the future and protect it for all of us. So I think there's this one dystopian future, and there's another one which we like to think, you invest in the future or you defend against it. And so
Excellent. Cameron Camp, ESET.com. Check them out on the web, and stand by for the next exciting installment of SecurityGuideTV.com here at Black Hat 2017. Okay, we're out.
Thank you, Cameron.
Push the button. Push the button, Trees. Push the button. Okay. All right, stand by. Hey. All right, stand by. Hey. All right, stand by. Hey. All right, stand by.